Jeffcom 911, what is the address of the emergency?
For West Metro Fire Rescue, 2019 was a year of growth and innovation. Our firefighters responded to a record number of calls, nearly 36,000, and we expanded 2 life-saving programs, finding new ways to use technology to better serve our community. After the Lucas device proved to be instrumental in assisting our crews, we expanded the program in 2019, placing the device on every one of our ambulances. The Lucas helps our firefighter paramedics and EMTs deliver continuous, high-quality CPR to cardiac patients. With the Lucas, we've been able to treat 20 patients who would not have survived without the device. Healthcare that comes to you. Our ARM Car program has now treated more than 400 patients, saving more than $1 million in healthcare costs. ARM is short for Advanced Resource Medic, and the staff is able to treat patients where they are, avoiding a trip to the emergency room. In 2019, we put a new ARM Car vehicle on the road to meet the demand for service. And in 2020, we're planning to expand the program even more, from 4 to 7 days a week.
This is our new ARM Car. It's a Ford Transit chassis, essentially a van type of ambulance. We made a few modifications that are helpful for us on the ARM Car. One of those is we have an exam light in there, because one of the main reasons I wanted to have an ambulance is so that we can bring our patients into a private area if we needed to do sutures or needed to do any type of invasive procedures. So it's nice to have the room to bring someone out of the weather, out of their work, and to a more private area. And then essentially it's also equipped to where we can respond as first responders essentially to more critical calls when we're out and about. So it has all of the normal advanced life support equipment as a typical ambulance. And then we have our additional kits that are specific to the ARM program.
I think we have one of 2 options right now.
The ARM Car provides an alternative level of treatment care where we can treat patients on scene, avoid unnecessary emergency room transports, and also provide them with additional resources outside of their immediate medical needs.
They're willing to get like a home health aide to kind of come help you with just some things around the house here and there. And
we've also tried to expand our social service navigation, and that's really where we help citizens in the community who need to get connected with resources, whether it's finding shelter or clothing or food, or even getting connected with primary care, or getting into insurance, or finding really whatever they need outside of their immediate medical need. Just slide this on your finger. It's really set up to follow the model of what's called mobile integrated healthcare, and essentially it's providing the immediate medical needs, but then also plugging them in to what they need in the future. It's not to take the place of a primary care physician, so many times we'll utilize primary care to help meet the patient's needs. So if we show up and they happen to fall and have an injury, we can help treat that injury, but also we're worried about the long-term issues that might come from that injury, whether it's subsequent falls. They might just be generally getting weaker due to their disease process, and they need more help at home. So we can utilize primary care to get other resources into their home for those more long-term care needs. And then really we can try and meet whatever social need they have as well. Ideally we are plugged into the community enough to where we know what's available, and then we just connect the patient to the resource. Yeah, we'll take care of all that. We're continuing to see more patients. We have continued to add services that it can provide, and currently the forecast of healthcare is ensuring that the ARM Car is going to be around for a long time.
okay.
A smart use of new technology means adapting those tools to meet West Metro's mission of protecting lives and property. In 2019, we launched a drone program, giving our crews an eye-in-the-sky perspective during incidents. Drones have been valuable in keeping our firefighters safe and assisting crews during structure fires and technical rescues.
slowly. And Jeff, I'm going to be your down.
At West Metro, dedication to public service starts in our Recruit Academy, and in 2019 we held 2 academies, graduating 39 new firefighters. During the academies, we partnered with Castle Rock Fire and Arvada Fire, training their recruits alongside ours. It's a way to share knowledge and resources with other fire agencies while teaching real-life skills to the recruits. And one of the most important lessons is teamwork.
All right, come on in. Please be careful. This is an exercise in communication not only with your partner, but also with the other groups of 2 around you.
So I'm going to have you go down to your 4s, nice and easy.
Even though you are working in teams of 2, you are working as a squad together.
Okay, there is a mousetrap right in between those 2 knees.
That's okay.
Today is team building day.
So we're going to get off your knees, we're going to go up on your toes.
We have a series of different stations that we put together which emphasizes communication.
Right hand, take it a little bit to your right.
Getting to know the recruits around them.
Reach towards your other hand, and you can set it down.
It also works on some leadership qualities.
Doing good. There's nothing in your path right now.
So I think it builds trust because obviously one person's blindfolded and their partner is saying, okay, you've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 mouse traps in front of you. So navigating their way through with their hands out in front of them, only relying on the person who is talking to them and communicating with them and telling them what to do.
1.5 feet in front of your right hand, there's a mouse trap.
Guiding him was tougher than going through myself because it was hard to figure out how to translate what I was seeing into what he needed to do, because he couldn't see what I was seeing.
There's a mousetrap behind your left wrist, and that's a mousetrap right there.
First thing that we tell them is that we do everything in teams. We do not sit in a fire truck by ourselves. We work together as a crew. We succeed as a crew. We fail as a crew. So teamwork is 99.9% of what we do.
Your pivot point is right where your hands are.
I think without that trust and being able to lead someone through when they're blindly going through, or trust them to lead you when you're blind and going through it, yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve, is that trust and building up that bond.
Now you're going to turn. Keep turning. Keep turning.
In this setting, we can communicate to them, hey, listen, look at all the trouble you were having with communication, and it's just 6 of you, and we're just in this little bay, and there's no fire, and there's no danger. So multiply that times 10, and that's always something that we're continuously trying to get better at, is communication.
You gotta stay real tight on this one.
Just really get these guys and girls working together, because they're gonna be face-to-face and in really close quarters a lot over the next 16 weeks.
And we are in the box. That was it. Woo. Good work. Here you go, buddy.
You got your straight line. Coming out, you got 3 lanes, 1, 2, and 3.
We're teaching the recruits how to drive.
One of 3 colors, or all 3 colors, depends. Red, yellow, or green.
Driving a medic is very different to driving your car. The average car weighs about half of what an ambulance weighs. This ambulance next to us weighs right around 13,000 pounds. That is about twice even what my full-size truck weighs. A lot of that weight is up very high. It's got a wide footprint. It has a lot of body roll when you drive it. So the recruits have to practice driving at high speeds, turning corners, and finding the limitations of both the vehicle and their own personal abilities.
All right, next up.
The instructors really wanted us to go beyond our limits. just past that point of comfort and get an idea of what it's like to be at a high-speed situation, have to come to a stop or have to come to a quick right turn and make a move. And I think we all successfully got just past that point to get past that level of being uncomfortable to get comfortable again with what this machine's able to do and our medics are able to do.
The lane change scenario is set up to be like a typical intersection. The length of track they have to make a decision is 65 feet. 65 feet is the average intersection for a 4-lane road.
There's not much time at all, especially as you get up to higher speeds. Obviously, you're going to have less reaction time.
Wow! We teach them to practice going left, maybe into oncoming traffic, but maybe the safest, clearest lane, or maybe right. So we give them options during that training to hit every single lane. Some of them we give them a green light, which means stay on the gas or even speed up. Sometimes we give them a yellow light, which means slow down and pick this lane. And sometimes they get a straight up 3 red lights, which is stop as fast as you can.
That is one thing that they tell you, that there will be people out there that don't know how to react to an emergency vehicle. And as you know, that's one of the things that in your mind you're always thinking about, all of those unknowns that may come across your path, and be prepared for them before you even enter that situation.
The be-all, end-all is to hopefully get them through an entire career without ever getting in an accident, driving emergent, driving non-emergent, driving their own personal vehicles. We are supposed to be professionals in our job. We're professional firefighters, we're professional paramedics. I believe our expectation should be that we are also professional drivers.
Even after the 16-week recruit academy is over, the training continues. In fact, every single one of our firefighters, no matter how experienced, spends hundreds of hours a year in training. Training is how we learn the skills and techniques to respond to incidents like the I-70 fatal crash in late April.
All right, here we go. Tower 2, engine 16, medic 10, engine 8. Respond to a car into a truck, fuel leaking on the ground, Kipling and Hamden.
Forward into it, okay?
For our multi-company drills throughout June and July, we're doing Class B fires with foam application techniques. We looked at pre-planning what kind of incidents could we have in our district. One of those we recognized was cars or truck accidents on the freeways and interstate causing a leakage of fuel and then a fire. We call that a Class B fire. To extinguish that, we use foam. Think about a 55-gallon barrel of fuel. If we use our traditional fire attack with a fire attack stream at 150 or greater GPM, and we spray water right into that barrel and it's on fire, it's going to just spread fire all over the place. What we want to do is essentially put a lid on it. The lid is basically that foam. We apply the foam blanket either in front of or behind or rain it down, and our 3 different basic techniques are to create a foam blanket over that flaming liquid that puts it out without disturbing it. Just as you would in a grease fire in your kitchen. If you splash water on it, that water expands and it just basically spreads the problem around your kitchen. The best technique for that is to cover that fire or to use a dry chemical extinguisher that's made for a grease fire. On the street, when we're dealing with hydrocarbons, a diesel or gasoline fuel spill, we don't want to splash or dilute that. We want to control it, contain it, and extinguish it. This training was in anticipation of a call like I-70. There was a recognizing, hey, we could have this type of an incident anywhere in our district. The prop is simulating a truck with a 55-gallon saddle tank full of diesel fuel. We have a car prop that's the ignition source as well. Both of those are propane fires. And then we also have a third vehicle involved where there's victims inside of there. They're mannequins and they're labeled with their gender and age and injuries. So while we're doing our fire attack, our number one priority is always life safety. And so it's how do we extinguish or control the fire and then rescue the people from the car. All training that we do is important. This is just one of the many techniques in our toolbox of things that we need to be able to immediately deploy to help out people in urgent need.
As a fire district, we often work with other agencies, both fire and law enforcement, and we work with doctors, nurses, and staff at area hospitals. While our recruits learn about the teamwork and academy, in practice, we know that good relationships with teams outside of West Metro help us respond more quickly and save lives.
Inside this crowded room at Lutheran Medical Center, it's not hard to tell who's the center of attention.
How cool!
He's the guy getting all the hugs.
Congratulations!
And the handshakes.
I'm standing up.
The patient these West Metro firefighters, Lutheran nurses, doctors, and staff all came to see. And the fact that Richard Clevenger is here just might be a miracle.
Tightness. It was like I got to unbutton my collar, you know, like my collar's too tight.
It was not the first time that Richard experienced that same pain, but it was the first time he had his wife, Kay, call 911.
And I thought, I've lived through this, it'll be okay. Well, after a few minutes, she looked at me and she said, "Is it going away?" And I said, "No, I think you better call." And she said, "Okay." And then she took over.
He must really be in bad shape if he wants me to call. But he's not in such terrible shape that he thinks he's going to die.
West Metro Company 16 responded, and the crew could tell by his symptoms and Richard's EKG that it was serious.
We knew he was definitely sick, and we were confident that there was a cardiac issue. And we could not, at the time, we didn't know how significant it was. We were able to perform well because of the good team. The symptoms and his presentation were right out of the textbook. The crew knew exactly what to do, and we just got it done.
From Richard's home to Lutheran's emergency room, where he was rushed to the cath lab, doctors there found a 100% blockage on one side of his heart, and it took 2 doctors working together to clear it.
We saw how dangerous it was, and we knew we had to get the blood flow. So we immediately put a guide in, which takes about 20 seconds, immediately got a wire in, which took a few seconds, and then got the balloon across. So it was done very rapidly, when usually it doesn't get done rapidly. Most patients, you have a large window, several hours, but with him, with 100% left main, those hours are condensed into minutes, if not seconds. So we kind of caught him at an opportune time, probably shortly after that vessel closed off. In this case, I think everything was just kind of lined up. The planets were aligned for him.
Richard spent several days in intensive care and then in cardiac rehabilitation. Now, 7 months later, he's getting back to his life.
Oh, I feel great.
And I feel
if it had to be somebody, I'm glad it was me.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The most perfect outcome that we could have asked for. And to be able to shake his hand and see him up and around and smiling is incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, it looks much better. Much better.
West Metro is an all-hazard fire agency, which means our firefighters have to be ready for anything, whether it's a structure fire, a rope rescue, a swift water rescue, or a hazardous materials response. In 2019, our special teams not only responded to calls within our own district and assisted our neighboring agencies, we also sent firefighters to help out on wildfires across the country. One of our teams is the REMS, or Rapid Extraction Team, whose members are both experts in wildland firefighting and technical rescue. The REMS team is responsible for rescuing injured firefighters.
What we're doing today is West Metro Fire Rescue's Rapid Extraction Module, or REM team, training with the Colorado National Guard and their hoist rescue team with 2 different helicopters today. So it gives us some hands-on experience working with the equipment and also learning all the ins and outs of their operation. So our REMS team is a team of rescuers. We are assigned to wildland fires throughout Colorado and throughout the country during the fire season. With our primary mission is to provide medical care and extraction of downed firefighters if they get injured or ill on the fire line. Just today we're working on how the actual hoist line comes down out of the helicopter, and the rescuers on the ground are learning how to hook that up and safely get the patient back up into the helicopter. The team, the rapid extraction module is only a team of 4 to begin with. So with our team of 4, we have to have more hands on together and more teamwork. And then once you're working on the ground underneath the helicopter, it's a whole nother experience to throw into the mix. You've lost your sense of hearing per se, a lot of rotor wash and strong winds and downdrafts from the aircraft. So just having that experience for us, now we know how to overcome that when working together with a patient. So this helps us at West Metro. It's another working relationship with our partners at the National Guard and knowing how to interact with each other. There is a potential that we could even use this asset within our own district for injured hikers along the Front Range.
In 2019, firefighters from West Metro and agencies across the Front Range headed to the East Coast to help out on Hurricane Dorian. West Metro is the host agency for Colorado Task Force 1, which is one of 28 urban search and rescue teams under FEMA. The members come from dozens of different Colorado fire and rescue agencies. One reason why it's important for the team to train together so they're ready to respond.
This is a 3-story parking garage, and it has collapsed due to an earthquake. There's multiple parties trapped in vehicles.
The information that we were given was possible victims inside the structure and that it was not safe to go into the structure, so we used canines to work and clear if there's any live victims still inside that we would need to work to rescue.
This is the Muscatatuck Urban Training Center. It's a 1,000-acre disaster town located south of Indianapolis.
There's a car right here, and so you can actually stand and walk around back in here.
A lot of these go back to the earthquake experiences we've had in our own country and what we've seen across the world. And we have tried duplicating as best as we can and creating a situation that exposes our rescuers, which they've been trained to how to deal with these. Now they're just putting all the pieces together. Working within the team and all the different components. The work is very real. We minimize the risk as best as we can as far as the training scenario goes. But for the rescuers, this is as close as we'd be able to replicate in a training environment to keep it safe for our rescuers, allow them that experience and tie it into what we see that's associated with earthquakes.
There's multiple specialties. We have hazmat, we have canine, we have rescue, technical search, planning, we have the IST, the task force leader, so each one of those teams has a specialty.
Stop on orange! Stop orange!
Every specialty is kind of tied in together, so there's a medical component as well. When the search crews find people, then they tag on a medical specialist and they go in and do their medical component. So it's not just one team doing everything, you know, just like in the fire service, everything's team oriented, so we're all depending on each other to make the effort complete.
If you find a victim, they'll work on egress of the victim.
Right now what we're doing is we're simulating doing a search and rescue operations inside of what would be a flood zone. So we've got a residential flood area and we've got our rescue squads going out, all water rescue specialists certified, going out inside of the boats, and they're going house to house searching for occupants, whether alive or otherwise, and we've got medical with us and canine search as well. challenge is that you've got hazards that you're unaware of. As you can look at the lake, they've got cars that are submerged part way. You've got houses that are submerged. The homes themselves become hazardous, and then you're never really sure, what's under the water. You can only see that surface. So outside of that, other challenges would be just you have to be able to grid out the area, and then you have to coordinate your resources so you make sure that you reach every home.
It's very hands-on, and it's two things. It's practical because it's actually what happens, and we treat it very seriously. We treat it as though it's a real event.
How long do you think they have?
I think it goes back to what we learned when we played sports as kids. I mean, practice makes perfect, and especially in these situations, when you start adding in the real-world stress, the fact that we're dealing with lives, the fact that we're dealing with somebody else's worst day ever, it just adds on top of the stress that's already there. So the practice, when you practice enough, you go to these situations and you perform better.
Unit 3, floor 1, structure okay?
For this exercise, we brought out 3 of our certified live find dogs. One is still very young and new certified. 2 of them are experienced and have been out on deployments before. And then we also brought with us 3 uncertified dogs that are getting ready to certify. It's definitely challenging. They understand the concept of the game at a young age, and that's what we really build, is that concept. If you go out and search for people and you bark to tell us, and then they get rewarded, they get their tug toy for barking at the people that they find.
Come on, Elmo, bring him down.
And in this case, it's taking that simple concept of barking at a person that you find and putting it into the context of you can find people in any environment.
Good boy. Is this of any concern to us?
For the dogs and the new handlers both, it's absolutely invaluable.
With Colorado Task Force 1, we have many departments and many members that come across from all these different agencies across the Front Range. How we do that, everybody has the same goal in mind, and that is to help the citizen and be able to provide a service to a community. How this adds to the team is it's that opportunity for us to work together, and not just work, but it's difficult work. We're going through a lot of complexities just by the nature of how the training event was set up that was very real world like. And we just don't get the opportunity to really spend 4 solid days together, build the relationships, understand each other's capabilities, and build off each other's strengths and weaknesses to accomplish the mission.
There's multiple people on Colorado Task Force 1 that are new members, so myself being one of those members. It's kind of operating outside of your comfort zone. You really don't know what you're going to get day to day. The most important thing that I've learned so far on this training is you're going to be hungry, you're going to be tired, you're going to be sweaty, you're probably not going to get a shower, and that's okay. So I wanted to be part of something that was bigger than myself, and this is way large, and I really am proud to be here, a part of the team.
We welcome the family and friends of our fallen.
In 2019, we honored a West Metro firefighter who died in the line of duty. Engineer Aaron Leibarger served our community for 26 years and was a member of Colorado Task Force 1, responding to the World Trade Center site after 9/11. Aaron's name was added to the Fallen Firefighter Memorial in Colorado Springs, the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Maryland, and the Colorado Fallen Firefighters Memorial here in Lakewood. For our firefighters and staff, public service not only means emergency response, but also being a part of the community. That's why we attend community and neighborhood events and volunteer to assist those in need. In October, a team of firefighters helped a Lakewood homeowner with some projects around the house as a part of a community volunteer effort. On the 4th of July, a call from a citizen led to this owl rescue. And in November, our Company 15 rescued a raccoon with a peanut butter jar stuck on his head. A passerby had spotted the animal and called us to help when no one else would. As a fire district, we're problem solvers, and our promise to you is that we will respond quickly and efficiently to every emergency. All of us here at West Metro, from our firefighters to our staff, believe in whatever it takes to serve.